Welcome.
We are
Welcome.
back.
We are back. Let's go. Episode 54.
54.
Thanks for that. I almost completely forgotten. 54.
54. Thank you very much, everyone who's been listening.
Yeah.
We're back and getting into the flow of things once again after a very, very extended hiatus. But as always, please
share, subscribe,
tap
all
that
that
button,
good
stuff,
and leave a comment. Anything, even if take a moment.
You see, whenever we do this intro, can just one of us do it? Because then it's just a lot of words when we're trying to get people doing a call to action.
You can take over.
You can do it since you're so keen to talk over me every time I do it.
Oh, so much pressure now.
Right, go on.
Everyone, please, if everyone can please share, subscribe,
comment,
follow. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Okay, go on.
Give a little tap. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in.
We're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and we also have an email list because he seems to have forgotten about all the things.
We do have an email list.
So drop them in there, and you get to see when the content comes out.
So what are we talking about today, Dwayne?
You're leading the episode, so you tell me.
So the point.
We need to do the story time first.
Fucking hell! Completely forgot about that because I've got stories. No,
he
sorry.
Is so shit at leading an episode.
No.
What was going on?
No. Sorry, I have got story, but it was like the stories from before we used to do where I get a voice note. I haven't got that, but I have actually got stories.
Yeah. Just
cool.
do like one.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've got that. Oh, mate, got that. Sorry, I was remembering from a lot of this may have to be cut. We've just rambled for quite a long time.
Nah, leave it. It's funny.
So I met this guy in a club, had drinks, danced, had fun. He asked if he can sleep over. I say sure. We can go home. Fuck. Sorry, let me start this again. We can cut this. Met a hot guy in a club, had drinks, danced, had fun. He asked if we can have a sleepover. I say sure. We go home. We fuck. I fall asleep. In the morning, I wake up and all my food in the kitchen is gone. Literally all of it. From the fridge, the pantries, the cabinet, everything is gone. I don't know what he put it in or where he went with it. I sleep like a log. It's a good thing I wasn't a poor college student or something. Even my condiments, it was weird. He even took the dog food and milk bones.
Is there any more to that?
No. What the fuck? Just imagine waking up and everything's been stolen. All your food.
And the person's never seen that person again.
No, it was the end of the story. Isn't that brilliant?
Fucking hell.
That is so fucking good.
Fuming.
All right, I've got one more for you.
All right, go on.
I fucked a much older guy once. It was great. Left the next day. Fast forward a month, I started dating this guy I met on Tinder, and we agreed to go visit the zoo. His dad offered us to take us there. And yeah, you guessed it. I got in the car and realised it's the guy I fucked recently.
Oh my God.
So it was retrospectively a shitty one-night stand because I had to break it off with a guy I liked while also making up some weird excuse. No way I'm telling him his dad did the nasty with me. Fucking hell, bro.
I wonder what the dad did whenever...
Oh, mate. Just like...
I wonder what the dad did whenever he saw her in the back of the car.
He must have been wigging. You'd like, unless he forgot, unless he just didn't, he didn't clock it. Because maybe, if he's out there and he's clapping cheeks left, right, and centre.
Oh, you remember a girl you slept with a month after, unless you're absolutely smashed.
That just would be so awful.
That'd be so awkward.
That would be so awful. Like getting in the car, being the chick on the day, and seeing that the dad is the person you slept with.
What would you do if that was your situation?
If I was the girl, it would just, you'd have to just like, I'd make an emergency and be like, I've got to leave.
So you'd stop
I'd make
dating
something
the person?
Up. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fair.
Like, for sure that person could end up being the one, but I probably wouldn't give it long enough to find out. I'd be like, no, fuck this.
That wedding would be too awkward.
Nah, no way.
Get the dad to do a speech.
Oh, mate, that is just so awful. Good though.
Jesus Christ.
interest was did the dating event recently, and obviously I was chatting to loads of different people at this event who were single, casually dating, looking for relationships, and there was like loads of good feedback in terms of like, you know, the dating game at the moment, but there was also like a fair bit of like negative feedback in terms of how people aren't happy with the current climate, and you know, there's not enough men out there's not enough women, or guys are really shitty on dates and they don't call back. And I was just thinking like talking about casual sex etiquette could be something really good to revisit, because it is something that is so relevant all the time that I just think so many people don't know about, or don't even think about.
Or don't even know how to like navigate a casual sex relationship
Yeah.
as well. What do you think's the biggest reason why people are struggling out there with dating after you spoke to the people?
I think one of the biggest things I realized is that people don't realize that they can tell the truth and still get what they want out of a scenario or situation.
Yeah.
People don't have to lie. And I think that's a really big issue for so many people. Like they head into a situation, guys, I think like massively, because from a guy's perspective, it takes a lot of effort to graft a girl compared to when a girl has to graft a guy. So when a guy's managed to finally graft someone and then they're on a date with them, and obviously whatever they want out of that situation, the girl might say, hey, what are you looking for? And instead of being like, there's always this ambiguity of like, oh, you know, I don't know. It's like, some people don't know, but some people
Most people do.
But some people just go, oh, you know, I'm like always open to it when they're not. And then it's like, why lie? Why, like, you don't have to like say blatantly, look, I'm just here to root you, but there's a way of like, you know, but there's a way of like, look, I'm not really looking for anything serious at the moment. I don't really know where my head's at. I'm not really like, I don't think I'm really looking for anything that serious. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that they could tell the truth
and still get what they want.
And still get what they want. And I think this is probably why that a lot of men get bad reps in like the one night stand game, or like, you know, the casual dating game.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to what you just mentioned, how a lot of men can get bad reps within the casual dating realm, is the fact I think maybe a lot of men don't realize that women probably enjoy sex as much as men. There's this component from a scientific standpoint where women do put a lot more emotion behind I guess the sexual nature and having sex with men, whereas men can be completely black and white. It's sex and that's it. They don't really get the emotional thing. But I think sometimes men forget, yeah, we love sex, but there are women out there that literally love it just as much, if not more, a lot of the times, and are also willing just to have the casual thing. But at the end of the day, a lot of people probably have never navigated that casual sex experience well, or have positive experiences of it, because like you said, people lie, ask them what they want, they tell you they don't want anything, or they tell you they do want something, and then it turns out it's not true, and then hearts get broken and people start arguing over like things that they probably shouldn't be arguing over, if that makes sense.
A lot of blokes also like think, and this could be women as well, but a lot of like blokes who I speak to, they're like, you know, I don't want to hurt her feelings. Like, I don't want to just say that because it's mean. I don't want to like hurt her feelings, that I'm not looking for anything. And it's just like, it's a weird like thought process.
But also when guys say that without any indication that they are into him, like, why do you think you're that much of a catch that this girl you've been on 2 dates with really into you and wants to be your girlfriend?
I do like that.
Do you think you're that great of a catch that you're also, I don't want to hurt her feelings? Why do you think she's into you, bro? You've hung out twice and you fucked twice.
That's a hella ego.
Get over yourself,
that's
bro.
That's a hell of an ego.
Literally. So I feel like that's also an issue there, where they make these assumptions based off just nothing. And we'll go for the both sides as well. Like, girls would get that, where they make these assumptions about guys. Maybe it could be they've had bad experience with a dude, and they make these assumptions that this guy only wants to fuck. He only wants casual sex. And then maybe that will end up force them to put up a wall. And then this guy might actually want something, but then because of the bad experiences of how guys have maybe approached, or how girls approach, there's just like this weird ass thing where they're just both coming butt heads, because neither of them want to really like tell the truth, because every time they've had an experience like this, it's just been a negative experience, if that makes sense.
I find that what happens as well is the less people say, the more you start like
overthinking.
I find, the less people say, the more you start creating a narrative in your mind. So as an example, because you didn't maybe say something, or you didn't communicate the way you feel, a guy might say, oh, I had a really nice time tonight. And the girl might go, oh, fuck, I think like he's really into me. I don't know. I'm not into him like that. And it's like, whoa, where's all these like thoughts come from? Like, where is this like over dramatized reaction come from? And it does come from just not saying things, because you do start to build like a narrative, and people are such great storytellers, so they just tell themselves things, you know what I mean? And I know, because I've spoken to loads of like of my guy mates when they've been on a date with someone and they're like, oh, I think like she's just really into me. I'm like, oh cool, like why? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like she just, you know, said she had a really nice time last night and she really enjoyed my company. And I was like, fuck, that's just like, it's just,
so you're just a good date then?
It's just a good date. Like, you're just a good date. It's like, fuck. And then what happens is they can then fuck up what is potentially a good casual situation by like overthinking a bit about it and then lying about it. And then it's like the whole, oh, I might sporadically start like lengthening out the text messaging and stuff like that. So look, I think from both angles, and you know, for women who are listening to this, a man can do that. And I think the best thing that you can do in that situation is take the first leap and just say how you're feeling and communicate it. So if you think they're leading like that, go, oh, hey, by the way, just want to let you know that I'm just really looking for only something casual. So at least like you can maybe, you know, debunk the paranoia that they may be having.
Qualify and qualify out.
Yeah, exactly. I think that can be really helpful.
How would you define casual sex?
Like,
that would be good to, to define in the pod.
Yeah, so casual sex, I think, is obviously, I would see it different as like, casual maybe dating is different to like one night stands. Yeah. Because I think casual dating is really beneficial for loads of people, and there's a number of reasons why.
You haven't defined what it is yet.
What's casual dating? In my perspective, casual dating would be continuously dating a few people without the like emotional long attachment, where it's just, let me do this again. I think casual dating is dating a few people knowing that there is an expiration date, or that it doesn't have the same weight as like a long-term relationship. Like, it's casual dating is just value like in the moment that you're with that person. But then when you leave, there's no expectation of like following up with, how's your day? What are you doing? You know, let me know if you have any issues. Like, you're not there to be like the support bench for that person. Yeah. It is there to serve. To an extent, I think it is there to serve a transactional purpose. Yeah. It doesn't mean casual can't lead into something more serious, but I do think if someone just wants casual, then they'll lead with an expectation of like, hey, we hang out and it's great, but don't call me after work because you're having a bad day and expect me to sit on the phone to you for an hour. Like, you've got your friends for that. Yeah. And I think that's totally fair. Yeah. You know, it's not like I am your partner, because if I was, it'd be different. There's a different expectation, and there's a different amount of investment that we're giving. That's a really long-winded way. Like, could you define it like a simpler way? It's a hard to like nail it down to like a sentence. I bet if I Googled it right now, it'd have like a really clean-cut sentence.
I feel like, I guess I think casual sex etiquette and just casual dating itself is going to be different for, I guess, everyone that gets involved in that. For some people, casual sex etiquette could be where it's just purely sex and there's no like emotional commitment or emotional connection or anything of the nature. Whereas for other people, casual sex etiquette could include that, because especially if you're casually having sex with someone very regularly, for me anyway, I couldn't casually sleep with someone regularly if they weren't providing me with something else other than the physical, because I'll get bored very, very quickly, and then I just won't be sexually aroused. You need to be
stimulated. So you need to be stimulated.
So from that level as well, I feel like casual sex also includes the physical. But if it's someone who you're regularly having casual sex with, you also, I feel like you need to be stimulated.
I don't want them to be too smart.
Yeah, you're different to me. It also adds that extra layer of maybe intellectual stimulation or even emotional stimulation. Maybe they don't need to call you after work if they're going through a bad day, but when they're with you in the bed, I feel like it's an open space that you want them to then feel comfortable enough around you to open up if they will. Because then also, if they're comfortable enough to open up around you on things that actually matter to them while they're in the bed with you, it's going to probably make the sex way better as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's true. What was the point I was going to say? It's like the girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
It's like in that moment, Google actually had like a really great definition. Casual dating or a casual relationship is a physical and emotional relationship
there you go.
between two people who may have casual sex or a near sexual relationship without necessarily demanding or expecting the additional commitments of a more formal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Same.
Hey, Google is just doing bits.
I mean, they're literally doing what they're supposed to do.
I know.
Should I ask ChatGPT?
That's a great definition.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's healthy?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a number of I think it's healthy. I think for someone who's been in a long-term relationship, I think it can be great because it can allow you to dip your toe back in the water without needing to worry of falling back into what is potentially another wrong long-term relationship, you know, because it can also allow you to, if you've been in a really long-term relationship, you sometimes may not realize it, but sometimes your growth is stunted. So sometimes there are areas of you that didn't develop. So being able to express yourself and know that being able to express yourself and also move to other people, you can get like a bit of a buffet of like understanding what you're into, what you like, how you feel about yourself, what kind of person that you're into. And also I think for naturally like avoidant people, I think casual dating for like a period of time can be great to share an emotional connection with someone, to let them know that they have the ability for that. You know, so when they do then want to settle down or they do want to find a partner, they know that they have that ability. I think it can be great, like for sure. But it does, if you are an avoidant, I think it does still take like an extra bit of effort to like not just have like casual sex, but have like a casual like relationship almost, you know. It's like the whole thing you were saying, like, you know, someone's in bed, they're talking to you about stuff, you're sharing stuff, there's a level of like vulnerability there. I think that can be great because in the back of their mind, it's still, there's this like safety net of like, it's cool, like, you know, this isn't like a long-term thing, but it's great, you know, and I've been there before and it really helped me to know, I can have these conversations and that's okay, I'm still single, I'm still figuring myself out, but fuck, that was a really good connection. Yeah. Like that was really nice to share that moment with that person. And you know, just because it was short-lived, it doesn't diminish like the experience that you had. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's definitely very, very healthy. Obviously, different strokes for different folks. Some people just aren't into that kind of thing. But I think for the majority of people, I think it's definitely important for most people to have a stint within their adulthood where they are single for a period of time and they are dating casually. You don't need to be having sex with people. Like whenever I tell people they should go on dates and stuff, I don't mean fuck everyone. Like if you want to have sex with everyone, you can. But if you don't and you just want to date, that's fine. I think it's important because like you said, it gives you an idea of what's actually out there, like legitimately what's out there, just not through the apps. It gives you an idea of and helps you figure out what you like and what you don't like. Because like you kind of mentioned, when you're in a relationship for a long period of time, especially if it's from your teenage years or early 20s into your late 20s, you end up just becoming one person. And you end up molding yourself around each other, and you end up becoming a version that you either think your partner likes or you either think your partner wants you to become. So whenever you get an opportunity and you break up with that partner or you're just single or whatever, it is so good to be single, experience what's out there without the pressures of trying to please someone or trying to appease someone while you're doing that. Because like I said, if you end up constantly jumping from one relationship to the other, like there's no space for you to grow on your own. Outside of trying to impress or please another human being.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I think that can be so important, just to take the time to soak in the kind of stuff that you want, that you like, just figure yourself out a little bit. If you were to give someone like and this is just a personal opinion, of course, spitting absolute facts. If you were to give someone like the do's and don'ts, if they're heading into like casual sex, casual relationships, what would be a do?
A do?
Or a don't, whatever you want to start with. It's up to you.
A do would be say thank you. maybe not say the actual word thank you, but
Gracias.
show appreciation for the time that you've spent with that person.
For sure.
I think that is key, especially if it's maybe like the first time as well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for a lot of people, especially if they're not doing casual dating often or doing casual sex often, or if it's their first time and they finally decide, you know what, fuck, I'm just going to do it. I feel like a lot of people could come away from that feeling a bit off and feeling a bit weird. It's like, oh, I've just done that. It's not my vibe. So I think saying thank you, saying how much you appreciate their time and the whole experience is one way to kind of negate that or help them feel a lot more comfortable with the experience and a lot more comfortable with actually doing it again. That would be one of my do's.
I was going to say, you can say thank you to someone and not have to worry that they're going to like overthink that just by saying I had a good night and like enjoyed the evening.
What's one of your do's?
Yeah, one of the do's would be to organize a date. Like, it doesn't have to be like a 3 a.m.er.
Ah, okay.
Like, you can say, hey, by the way, you can give notice to when you want to have like a casual experience with this person.
Of course.
Like, even though you're not in a relationship, like, hey, do you want to hang out on Thursday? Grab some food, get a bottle of wine, and chill for the evening. And that, I think, is okay, you know? Like, you're allowed to have that expectation, even if it is only casual. And for, like, the guys out there, like, you know, women who just want to have sex with you, they will still appreciate that massively.
Yeah, because it makes them feel
massively,
wanted. It still makes you feel wanted and needed and appreciated.
For sure.
Like, people do send the text and people will enjoy receiving the text, but there comes a point as well where sometimes you don't want to be getting a 3 a.m. text to sleep with some guy you've been sleeping with or sleeping with some girl you've been sleeping with. Sometimes it's actually nice if they message you during the day and say, oh, what are you up to on Thursday?
Yeah.
Do you want to hang out?
Yeah.
Even though you know you're hanging out to fuck.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's still nice to know that they've thought of you before and is planning to actually hang out with you
and
in the future.
It doesn't have to be anything outrageous, you know? Do you want to just grab a feed down the road and like go back to yours and watch a film or something?
Yeah. What are your don'ts?
I think that's fine. Don't. I would say, like, for a casual thing, like, don't, like, root and boot, you know? Like, you can have, like, you can, you know, do the deed and still chill after.
Yeah.
You know, like, chill, watch a film, go for, like, do whatever you want to do. Like, there's no, like, prescription for that. But, you know, you don't need to, like, root and boot, as an example. I think that's also the benefit as well. You can have that, like, intimate experience and it just end there when they leave the next day or they leave that night or whenever it is. So I think, you know, you don't need to treat it as like just a root and boot.
Don't lie.
Don't lie. Yeah.
If they're asking if you're sleeping with other people, just say yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they don't want to continue sleeping with you, then that's fine. Just carry on.
So many people lie about that. And it's just like, now you've lied about it. Now you need to protect that lie. So now you need to start saying things. Now you need to start saying things to, you know, give the illusion that you're not that kind of person. Now that person has expectations of you.
Oh, what did you do last night? And then you're having the lie and say, oh,
and then what
I did
happens
this and
is you then resent that person in this casual relationship because you lied. And then you set up this expectation. Don't jump on your phone straight away afterwards, I would say. There's nothing worse, you know. Someone rolls over. It's like, sweet fucking TikTok. It's just like, fucking hell, have a bit of decency, you know? Like, it's been a moment, you know, it's been a moment. So I would say don't just jump on your phone straight away after. What about you?
Yeah, the phone one's definitely facts.
Yeah.
It's very tempting too. Was that a don't?
It's
don't
very
jump
tempting
on your phone. It is. It is.
Because it's post-nut clarity. You're like, oh,
like,
I just
what am I doing
don't care about this.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
I regret it. Should have wanked. I'm joking. Not really. My don't. Another don't. Don't make assumptions, I think. I think...
Don't make assumptions.
And it goes back to about the not lying and being open and communicative. Don't make assumptions about people's feelings towards you, like we mentioned earlier. I think when you do that, again, like you say, you're telling the story and you're creating a narrative that is could be completely false. And I think whenever it gets to a point where you are starting to make assumptions about something that might not be real, it can then change your whole perception of the situation and also how you may view that person and how you treat that person. Because you can get people who get into a situation where if they feel as if they have the upper hand in a relationship, they'll start acting differently. And a lot of times in a negative way. It's like, oh yeah, she's proper into me. I don't need to make any more effort. I can just chill. She's going to text me and ask me to hang out. I don't need to make an effort. So once you start making that assumption, then you end up start treating that person lesser than. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
sure.
So
I think if there ever is a situation where you're in a casual sex or casual dating,
respect that person's
respect
time.
the person
Respect
enough
the
to
time.
ask them questions. Or even when you get to a point where you feel as if it's going very well and you feel as if you might want it to go a different direction. Again, don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Ask the question and just see what their answer is and just go from there.
I'd say just don't last minute flake, you know, the whole like respecting their time, you know, that person is still a person, and don't drop those last minute, you know, oh, sorry, change your plans. And it's like that person is still allocated that time. This is like a genuine thing. One of the things that I think is really important is that it can happen that even when casual dating, someone can get feelings. And I think it's really important to like check back in. Like always, did it? Oh yes. Yeah, it did happen to me.
There you go.
It did.
We have Exhibit A right here.
Oh, fucking hell, I might cut this.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would you cut it?
I don't know. Because it's just in the moment, I've just started getting really nervous. Like I'm just like seeing how this like all sounds. And I would say that, yeah, you always need to... you throw me off massively. I would say that in casual dating, it's important to check back in, because it can happen where you pick up feelings for like the other person. And it is really important to check back in, you know, where it's like, hey, I still am only really looking for casual. Is that still what you're looking for? And I think there's a whole thing where it's like, you know, I'm responsible for me and they're responsible for them. And if that person, and if you know that person is into you, it doesn't, just because you say, look, they're into me, but I've told them all I want is casual, it doesn't mean you know yourself of all responsibility. Yeah. You can, but you'd be a bit of a piece of shit for doing it.
Using
like,
my bars.
It's just like, it's from a book actually.
Yeah.
You sent me a script from a book on that. And I really, yeah. I think it's from the fucking, don't know, what's the love languages one maybe? It was that one.
Oh, was it?
It was a book, and it was
think it would have been love
it was like a
languages
one line. It was a one line, and I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't think about that before, and I was like, "That is so true." Yeah. Because I was like that for a period. I was like, "Oh, you know," and I've told them, I was like, "Nah," because I'm still a human being. Like, be a decent human. Do you know what I mean? And so just because you can say, "Well, I told them," you know, it's up to them. It's like, no, you still have a responsibility of saying, "Hey, listen, you're catching feelings. I know that. Yeah. I don't feel comfortable still doing this with you
100%.
because I know it's really going to hurt you." Be a fucking good human. And what it does as well is it sets up this like domino effect of just people creating good experiences for everyone. Yeah. Because then when that person ends with you and they go into another casual situation, they know it's like, hey, this person treated me really well. They respected me. Instead of, oh, this person led me on. Like I told them about my feelings, or like they knew I was like, you know, catching on with them and they still just didn't mind. It's like, and then it creates this awful cycle. Then when someone else is picking up that weight, they're like, oh, they've got all this trauma and this fucking shit they're dealing with, you know? So I think that, like my don't would be, don't be a piece of shit. Yeah. And, you know, be a decent human, you know, because it's really easy to not be. Like, it's really easy to just not say anything. It's so easy to just stay silent, you know, and that's what you have to do to be a piece of shit. Just stay silent. To be a good person, you have to actively have the conversation, say the hard things, say the uncomfortable moments. That's to be an active, good person.
It's like people say, that it's the thing about loyalty as well. It's like, you're not loyal unless you've been presented with in a position where you have to choose to be loyal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know where that's come from, but was that Alex Ramosi?
I think so, yeah.
It's not, because I heard it before he even started talking on YouTube.
Can you not beef him, bro? Can you not do this?
But yeah, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, you're a good person, but what are you like?
Have you been tested?
Yeah. What are you like when you've been put in a position where you have to make a decision that either is good and selfless, or a decision that's bad and for you? You know what I mean? And it's the same with loyalty as well. Are you loyal though? Are you loyal, or have you never been put in a position where you're in the middle of a club with loads of women and they're all over you and you're saying no to these girls? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and also I was thinking, earlier this week when I was thinking about casual dating,
Yeah.
and the idea of dating itself is so like new to the world in the grand scheme of things. Because if you think about it, our parents and their parents, like when they weren't really dating back then. In the early 1900s,
I thought we were going BC for a second. I was like, fuck.
not that far.
How far back are we going?
But in the early 1900s,
yeah, you just meet someone in your
met
town
someone in your town. If the guy liked you, he would take you out, he'll court you, and that was it. You weren't looking
have
around
like 9 kids
and dating, and you're having like 10 kids or whatever. And I actually was listening to a book the other day, and they were saying that the actual idea of dating and the concept of dating only started in the 1890s.
Yeah, wow.
So that's like, what, 3 generations ago?
Yeah, fuck.
And if you think societally wise, in the 1890s, like women didn't have rights, so they weren't really dating then. They were just like told what to do. People of color didn't have any rights. People within the LGBTQ, can't remember all the other letters, plus community
Cancelled.
also didn't have any rights.
Yeah.
So coming now into, let's start from maybe mid 2000s where it was okay to, and even then in the early 2000s, it wasn't really seen as like a thing to be openly casually dating and casually fucking around. If people were doing it, they'd 9 times out of 10 keep it on the down low. So when you start talking about it in today's day and age where people are trying to navigate this new way of life, because it really is new for humans, the way we're dating now, you kind of have to give a bit of grace, because we weren't taught how to casually date. Like our grandparents or our grandparents, they got proposed to by some random guy because their parents decided that this would be a good marriage, and here's 10 cows for your daughter. Like that was the kind of shit that was going on. The idea of even online dating, that was what, 1994 with Match.com.
Fuck.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that was like
wow.
the first. Wow. I think Match.com was like 1994.
I remember the adverts coming on TV for that.
On literally your internet browser.
That's mad.
And then I think Hinge Tinder, sorry, and all like the ones on your actual
When did
phone.
Tinder come out?
That was like
5 years ago, 6 years ago?
no, it's like a decade.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I was about 21 or something like that. I think I was in
True, yeah, when I
uni.
went backpacking, yeah, I remember it
I think
being
I was
like,
in uni.
yeah.
So like that's just come out 10 years ago. How the hell do you expect the population to understand and even be able to successfully navigate something like dating whenever the actual concept of it isn't really, it's barely over 100 years old, you know what I mean? So that's why when I think about it, I'm like, I understand why people struggle, because a lot of us are only feeding off the information that we've been fed by our parents, and our parents likewise from their parents. So now that we're in a position where we're trying to flip the switch, because because even when you talk to your parents and stuff about it,
you look happy. No, as in that's what parents would say. You know, it's like, oh, you look like, it's like, they don't really ask the questions.
Yeah, they
of
don't
like,
understand. It's like,
oh, you look happy. You know,
like,
she's nice. Yeah, she seems
what
like
are
a
her
nice girl.
ambitions?
Yeah. Do you think I was just saying that to you?
I was just like, what? I thought you were talking to someone behind me.
I realised you paused and I was like, he's not clocked on.
Yeah, I was just like looking here.
But no, it's true. Yeah, it's just like, because I remember that as well. Like they'd just be like, oh, you know, but like she's a nice girl.
Yeah.
It's like, but what do you? Hello, love. But what do you know? Like, what are you asking? Like, what do you like about this person? What don't you like about this person? Like, what similar interests, hobbies, outlooks do you have? Like, what are the things that are most important that you can see growing with this person? But you never get asked that. But I think it would be different now, because if I was to have a kid, these are the things that kind of like I'd be really interested in. Because I'd be like, well, why do you like that person? Like, why? Why them? And, you know, it has to be more than, oh, she's just nice and she's like well fit.
But even back then, though, like hundreds of years ago, people weren't marrying for love. Like a lot of, I would say 8 out of 9 of our, I guess, if you were to go 4 generations back, our great-great-great-grandparents probably didn't marry for love. They would have married for purely economic reasons and financial reasons and land and families and wanted to stay. If you're from a certain background, we want to keep you all from this certain lineage or whatever. Like that's what it was. Whereas now people are like you said, you're asking more questions. People are looking for more than just land and money be great.
It's always
right
good,
now.
yeah.
It'd be
I'm
actually
not turning
ideal.
this down. I just want more than that now. Yeah.
I mean, the land's great. Give me it. But
yeah.
what
also,
else have
like,
we got?
yeah, exactly.
Whereas now people are just looking at way more. And again, that's why I feel like the whole casual dating thing is harder as well, because people don't even know what they want. It's like, oh yeah, I'll casually date, but like, how long do I casually date for? Like, how long do I hang out with this guy, hang out with this girl before one of us either needs to or will bring up the conversation? And when we bring up the conversation, at some point, what am I going to say? What is he going to say? What's she going to say?
That's why so many people settle.
And that's why so many
people settle because they're like, the search for compatibility is too hard.
That's it would be hard.
That's a fucking horrible thought in itself. People settle because the work is too hard.
Yeah. And it is.
Just like
it is hard.
That like thought in itself is so shit.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and
if you were to think of that like with a job, if you wanted to get somewhere, it's like, well, you knew it was going to be hard. And so you just go, well, I'll just settle. I'll just give up. And it's like, fuck. That feels like a sad existence.
It is.
You know? But the thing is, that's also what makes it good. That's like the price tag associated with it. That's the price tag associated with it that makes it good. Yeah. Because then when you do get the relationship where you have invested and you are growing and you're like, fuck, this is why it feels so good. Yeah. Because the hard work makes it feel good. Yeah. It makes it feel valuable. And without that, it wouldn't feel as good to have it. The price tag is what makes it feel good.
But also, a lot of people just aren't in a place where they feel as if they're deserving of the love that they should get. Like, people, like you said, will just settle or accept shitty behavior from people purely because they've never actually understood or experienced like good love. Like, your concept of what a relationship is or should be really comes from like your primary caregiver. Like, if your parents had a really loving relationship, there's an 8 out of 10 chance that your ideology or the way you view love or the potential of love or actual true love forever after is a good one. Whereas if you come from a background, if your parents were divorced or they stayed together but they had a really shit relationship, your concept of what love, dating and forever, happily ever after is going to be so different. And it's not going to be the same for everyone. Some people will have a positive outlook on love because maybe they had a best friend whose parents were completely infatuated by each other and they were around the house all the time and they have that connection from a young age. But there's other people out there who just throughout life never really experienced love at the level that they would have needed to, so that when they get to adulthood that they're actually able to, I guess, pursue it in a positive and healthy way. You know what I mean? So I think also that's probably another reason why, I guess, the casual dating thing and even just dating in general is like people are going in here assuming the worst. I used to be like that. I used to be under the impression that like they're going to leave or it's just not going to work out. I'll just put some effort in and then at some point I'll just start pulling away because they'll end up pulling away at some point. And I completely understand where that's come from now and why I always felt like that. And even sometimes to this day, I'm always fighting demons. Like, and it's always a case. If there's anyone who's out there that's been through a lot and they've had negative experiences growing up or even in adulthood, it's only natural, even after you've done the work, that whenever you're in something good, that your mind will always try and push you back.
I get that.
To the demons. The demons are always there. And that's why, for me personally, I never get like comfortable with feeling great or feeling healthy, because I know one thing and then I'll have this weird thought and then I'm having to like recalibrate and say, why are you having these thoughts again? Why are you having these thoughts? You know why you're having these thoughts. And that's why I think when it's so important when I talk about being self-aware and actually doing the work, it's like, it's perfectly fine being self-aware. I've been self-aware for a long time.
Yeah, but without doing the work,
doing the work, I was just repeating the same behaviors and saying, okay, I'm having this trigger, I'm out the door. Whereas now if I have the trigger, I'm like,
it's okay, it's coming from a place. I understand where it's coming from.
I understand where it's coming from.
I get that sometimes as well. I still get that sometimes. Yeah, I still get that where it's like, when things are like really good, even to this day,
You're like,
sometimes
something's
I'm like,
supposed to happen bad.
Something's going to go wrong. Like, why is this still going? Why is it getting better as well? Like, it's just getting better. Like, this is a fucking unsettling feeling. It's, you know, it's a weird thing to like become accustomed to when, you know, something goes wrong and then you both try and fix it. And it's like, well, that was really good. Like, fuck, why is that working? Why is it not breaking down? Why are we not why are we not fucking like fixing? Why are we not arguing? It's like, fuck. And it's unsettling. It's unnerving sometimes, but it's good. You just
it's like a good unsettling.
Yeah, you get used to this feeling of like, this is what it's meant to be like. These moments, like, these are what these moments are meant to feel like when you're truly working towards something with someone, you know? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, fuck. I think that's a fair way off casual sex etiquette, but definitely a good point to make, you know?
One last thing before we finish.
I've got one more story as well.
Don't emotionally dump.
I fucking had that on my phone.
On your casual sex partner.
Don't tell them you just want something casual and then emotionally dump on them as well.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, fucking what a piece of shit, you know?
Make the openness organic and natural and what both parties like. Because you can tell people things all the time, but if they're not ready to receive it, then you're probably going to fuck up the potential good experience that you could have.
Don't overshare.
Yeah.
Like, share, but don't overshare. Just chill.
Especially in the first date, you crazy people.
Just fucking saying the most crazy. That would be a good thing to have a look at. I might have a little search for that. What's the most
emotional dumping?
Overshared on a first date. Yeah. I'd love to hear that.
I actually have good stories for that.
I'd love to hear them, mate.
Yeah, I'll have to write it out. I'll paraphrase the experience.
Sorry. Met a girl online when online dating first became a thing. Except for the fact, so she had 2 kids. I wasn't really sure I was ready for that at that time, but we hit it off pretty well. She invited me to her house after she sent the kids up to bed to her room. She took me down to the basement and proceeded to fuck my brains out. Okay. We did a lot of nasty stuff that took me and my ex years to work up to. I was happy to meet another kinkster and was looking forward to a meaningful relationship with this woman. I was even thinking about figuring out a way to date a woman with kids. Maybe it'd be sort of cool. As we're cuddling on the couch and watching TV, post-coitus, a knock came at the door. It was her ex. They're still friends. Instead of kindly telling him she had company and asking him to leave, she invited him in.
No.
After walking through the place, including the room, I just slammed her in with a couple of used condoms on the floor. This guy joins us on the couch. So here we all are on the couch, me on one side and the ex on the other, and her in the middle.
You're joking.
Then she put a blanket over all 3 of us.
Oh no.
What the fuck? And then this dude actually says, hey, if this isn't cool, I can leave. But instead of saying, yes, get the fuck out of here, she went, nah, that's okay. We're all good. I got up and left.
What the
Bro. That's so bad.
That is actually insane to me.
Oh, God.
That is actually insane to me.
Bro, that is so fucking bad. So good. Imagine that, you're just sitting there just on one side and you're just like...
I thought I was going to say she put the blanket over them and started trying to pull them both off with a hand each.
That wouldn't have been bad. That would have been quite a good ending. That would have been a decent ending.
It would have been a good ending.
It would have been a story. It would have been a story.
Do it for the plot.
But imagine, like, you're just sitting there and he sits down, you're like, so... Netflix?
That is... People are so odd,
so uncomfortable, man. So uncomfortable.
Why do people do those things?
So uncomfortable, bro.
Fucking hell. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
It's been a great one.
We appreciate you if you've listened to this far.
Excited for the next one.
Excited for the next one. And as usual, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff all across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And throw us into the email list as well.
Throw us into the email list.
Thank you very much.
Peace out.
Stay safe.